Hello, this is Nathan Klein, the Green Party candidate for U.S. Senate here in Missouri this year. I've been coming to you talking to you about the way the Democrats and Republicans approach many of the problems that we face very similarly, and how the Green Party has a very different approach. Today I want to talk to you about how our Green Party approach to the climate crisis is very different than the very similar approach of the Democrats and Republicans. First off, we need to make sure everyone is aware that the greatest threat that humanity has ever faced is the global climate crisis. And really, nothing else matters if we don't get this right. Who says this? Well, thousands of PhDs in dozens of fields worldwide that have been telling us for decades and even generations at this point that this is an existential crisis, and that we must stop burning fossil fuels amongst other things ASAP, or face a nightmarish future for our children and grandchildren. Unfortunately, at this point, because of the inaction of the folks that have been in charge, the Democrats and Republicans and their wealthy donors, we have very little time left to respond. The amount of fossil fuels that we're still able to burn is called our carbon budget. And just to let you know how urgent this is, we only have about 5 years of fossil fuels to burn at current burn rates for the rest of time if we're going to avoid triggering catastrophic climate tipping points that are really going to cause us a lot of challenges, to say the least, going forward. And we only have about 20 years of fossil fuel use at current use rates to avoid, basically going over the ecological cliff and ending human civilization and most life on Earth. And just to let you know, how bad this is, there's only about 35 years of fossil fuels left on the planet. Even if we completely ignore the consequences, we'll run out within 35 years. Of course, we won't even get there because of the effects of the climate crisis will cause our civilization to collapse before we even get to burn it all. So, what are we going to do about it? Well, the Democrats and Republicans and their wealthy donors, they offer kind of magical technological fixes that are not going to solve the problem, and are really just ways to forestall doing what we must do. What are some of the things that they are focused on? Well, some of them are focused on wind, solar, and renewable energy sources, which can provide some energy, but we have to understand that we don't have the materials and metals and other materials on the planet to build the fossil fuel infrastructure out that would be needed to replace the fossil fuel energy that we currently are burning. And some people are just not don't understand that the renewable energy infrastructure has only about a 20-year life cycle. We got to then rebuild it all after about 20 years. So obviously, this renewable energy infrastructure is of diminishing long-term results, and going to provide some energy for us, but we're not going to be able to continue to use energy like we currently do. They also offer kind of pie-in-the-sky geoengineering things like carbon capture and storage and solar radiation management, blocking out the sun. All of the efforts at this, we've wasted many billions and trillions of dollars on this failed technological fixes, and nothing has come of it, and likely nothing will. It's just an excuse to delay the inevitable. And finally, the kind of main thing that's supposed to dig us out is nuclear energy. But nuclear energy is already an existential crisis on its own. It's not a solution to this other ecological crisis. We have no solution already for the 500,000 tons of spent nuclear fuel that is distributed in over 500 nuclear facilities all over the world. That all of it will be deadly for tens of thousands of years. We have no idea what to do with it already. And there's 440 active nuclear reactors in the world. all of which could melt down if the power ever goes out. We've seen this happen at Fukushima and other sites. In the low energy future of the that we're coming into, the danger of these nuclear meltdowns are only going to expand. So we really need to take these nuclear sites and decommission them before they become even more dangerous than they already are. Not to mention that nuclear energy is by far the most expensive and takes the longest to put online. And any talk of fusion reactors that you hear, we've been hearing that for decades, and it looks like it's not going to be viable. Until proven differently, it's not. So we have to move forward as if that's not an option, and that's what we're going to do. So one thing that we do have to wrap our heads around, and which I'm trying to explain, is that this problem is much worse and much more fundamental than is generally understood. We cannot continue to grow our energy use and resource extraction around the planet endlessly on this finite planet. Of course not. And we've reached that limit. The era of growth is over because the era of endless resources is over. So degrowth of human activity on the planet, energy use and economic activity, is upon us and inevitable. We will either purposefully, thoughtfully, carefully degrow our economies, or we will continue to do what we're doing and drive right off the ecological cliff, causing, the worst possible nightmare scenario. So the main driver of the crisis ahead of us is hunger. As crops fail, we're already seeing that happening in the global south, which is driving the millions of climate refugees that we see piling up on our borders and borders in Europe and in the north generally. This is only going to become much worse very quickly. Why cannot the Democrats and Republicans and their wealthy donors respond appropriately? They obviously cannot. And it's because they are ideologically wedded to a growth-based capitalist economic system that they cannot exist in a degrowth environment. This has nothing to do with whether or not capitalism is a good thing or a bad thing. It simply is not something that has any useful functionality in a degrowth or steady state, sustainable human culture. And so we've already issued, the Democrats and Republicans, the permits to end the world. Indeed, the Obama and Biden administrations issue a lot more new fossil fuel drilling permits than even the Trump administration. This is, throws out the window any idea that the blue team is better than the red team on this. They're not. Indeed, there's 25 new pipelines permitted and under construction in the United States alone. So they've got the pedal to the metal and driving us right off the ecological cliff. The billionaires, however, know what we're coming up against, because what are they busy spending a lot of money on? They're building bunkers in very remote places to try to wall off the rest of us as the crisis unfolds. And multiple billionaires are literally financing their own missions to Mars to just run away from us. All of this should concern us, and it does nothing to solve the problem. So what is the Green Party going to do different? Well, the Green Party offers the only path to sustainability within the carrying capacity of the Earth. We would advocate, and we do advocate, democratically determining our priorities based on our carbon budget. How much energy do we have to use today and going forward? We need to prioritize meeting basic human needs first, because if we have billions of starving people on this planet, human civilization will collapse, because the panic and terror of starving people of this planet will sink the fragile human civilization that we depend on. So we must make sure that everyone has their basic needs met. And then we'll see what we have left over. Our technological innovation needs to be focused on efficiency. How are we going to meet the basic needs of all of humanity with as low an energy output as possible? That's the only technological innovation that we need to invest in, because that's the only thing that's going to help us going forward. We need locally based, self-sufficient communities that can provide for themselves. You know, the era of shipping stuff from China and all over the world is coming to an end, and we just need elected leaders that are going to understand this and act accordingly. We currently don't have that, and obviously we're going to have to simplify our lives now, because we're going to have to do less. We're going to have to work less. We're going to have to spend more time with family. We're going to have to rest more. We're going to have to do more of the things we love at home. You know, if we're an artist or a gardener or whatnot. So this is not all terrible. We need to slow down and live simpler lives, and that is the way of the future, and that's what we advocate. So if that sounds appropriate, then I certainly welcome you to become engaged with the Green Party. Join up at mogreens.org. Get involved with my campaign, which you can find on our website as well. And we need as many people to get off the couch and to get involved in this as possible, because the only way forward is a mass citizen movement that is going to put people, planet, and peace over profit. And the Green Party is the only one that's on the ballot that can win this election and change the course of history. So we look forward to working with you going forward. Thanks so much for your time, and have a wonderful day.